about it with Congressman Byron Donalds, member of the House Budget Committee. Byron, welcome back. Happy Thanksgiving to you, sir. And, look at...
Happy Thanksgiving.
You look at this. I think the second biggest item in this is now the SALT deduction going to $80,000, which, gimmicks aside, is about $235 billion. And it's the top 1% and the top 5% to get almost all of it. Middle class doesn't get a nickel of that. So that's one thing. And the other one is all the Green New Deal tax credits and shelters, that's for rich people, right? You're $12,500, you're going to buy yourself a nice new Tesla, you get a $12,500 break. So it's just sort of incongruous to me, Biden's always attacking rich people. He's supposed to be a working class man of the middle class. Nonsense. The budget says otherwise.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, the two big winners in this are rich people in blue states and people who love the Green New Deal initiative and some of these green companies who are going to get a bunch of loans out of this climate bank that they want to create as well. This bill is an absolute joke, and a lot of stuff just works in complete opposite to each other. There's no need to do this stuff. Like, listen, personally, I love people to keep their money. I want to keep my money too. I'd rather not send it to the federal government, especially this federal government, the way it operates. But the reality is this: is that the Democrats favored their own interests. They favored the people in blue states who donate to them. They favored people in the climate change Green New Deal agenda who favored them as well. They even favored newspapers. I mean, people who work for local newspapers, the newspaper companies are going to get a tax credit for $12,750 per employee if they have an outfit that has less than 750 employees. This is a complete giveaway to people who support Joe Biden and the radical left.
Yeah, speaking of which, so they changed the eligibility slightly, but Byron, if you're a family making $500,000, you will be eligible, get your Tesla with a $12,500 credit. And of course, the batteries and the car has to be made in union shops, so right-to-work states don't qualify. But again, a lot of people, $500,000. Look, I like rich people. Let me just say that. I mean, I want the non-rich to be rich. I want to provide as many incentives for growth as possible. But I hate singling out winners and losers like this. And it is the rich who will benefit.
That's 100% correct. Look, I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. When I was growing up, we were poor. I wanted to be rich. I wanted to have money. I have no problem with people having money. Like I said, I definitely don't have a problem with people keeping their money. But what Washington can't do is pick and choose who gets to keep their money and who does not. Why is it that a family of four who's working hard, why is it that they are literally having to figure out how to make their way through this economy? And oh, by the way, if they decide to use tobacco products, they're actually going to see a tax increase because of what's in this bill that increases the taxes on rolled tobacco and tobacco products and things like that. It doesn't make any sense at all unless you're a radical leftist. Then it makes total sense to you.
Byron, you talk at all? You ever talk to Joe Manchin or Kyrsten Sinema? You think they're going to save America and kill the bill?
Well, I never get a chance to talk to them. It's just a weird thing in D.C. where people might think that we all sit around and talk to each other. We actually barely see one another. But I know a lot of my colleagues who served with Kyrsten Sinema. They think she's going to hold strong. The reality is this. She represents a purple state in Arizona. Joe Manchin represents a red state in West Virginia. So if they do the right thing, they basically ignore this bill and move on, because in the background of all this, we have massive inflation issues. We have massive supply chain issues. The last thing we need in our economy is giving a child tax credit, giving $300 per child to people, because it sets up this economic decision of, am I going to go get another 5-6 hours at work, or am I going to stay home? That's not what our economy needs. My hope is that they understand that and basically pull these radical elements out of this bill. And at that point, the progressive left in the squad, I doubt they'll want to support it.
Yeah, so when you come back next few weeks, we're going to talk about, the child allowance, the child tax credit, and child care will be made significantly more expensive. It will not cut costs. It was some estimates from the University of Chicago and elsewhere that, Byron, it'll add on at least $12,000, $13,000 a year to child care costs, despite what the Bidens may be saying. It's not a cost cutter at all. It's a cost increaser. And again, it's the lower income folks who will have the hardest time. Anyway, Congressman Byron Donalds, happy Thanksgiving, sir. Thanks for coming on. Talk soon. Next up on Kudlow, the left.